Hey dreamers, it struck me the other day that I talk about dividends all the time, but maybe I haven't explained how I became a dividend investor and why I heart dividend investing so much. Oh, let me count the ways. How did I become a dividend investor? Well, I started life like everyone else, small salary, very in debt, struggling, and simply trying to put as much into my 401k as possible every year, which at the time was around 14,000 max. I chose from the selection of 20 or so mutual funds that I had access to in the company's plan, and I thought that was investing. As time went on, I changed jobs a few times, and when I did, I rolled those mutual funds into an IRA so I'd have a little more control over the decisions, which I thought meant more mutual funds to choose from. Then I added some growth stocks that everyone was talking about, and sometimes I did well, and sometimes I got burned. Then I bought a house and ended up renting it out, and learned quickly what a pain owning and renting is. Then I started to do side hustles, and I was able to open a SEP IRA, which you can do when you make money independently, where I could put a lot more money into a retirement non-taxable account each year, over $50,000. But I still had most of my money in mutual funds, because that's all I knew how to do. And back in those days, there were trading fees. And frankly, I was too busy working to figure out anything else. Then in 2019, I got spooked and liquidated nearly everything and put it into CDs. You can hear more about that part of my investing journey in my video, How It Started and How It's Going. But a key takeaway of that video is I was 100% in cash when the pandemic market crash happened in March 2020. And with a clean slate, I started really thinking strategically about how to become self-sustaining in terms of passive income for the very first time. Ultimately, after months of researching and thinking, and after years of investing in my other ways, I discovered dividend investing. Now with years of dividend investing under my belt, I really wished someone had educated me about this strategy decades ago. So maybe this will help you as you're doing your own research. Here's what I learned and why I love dividend investing. First, you don't waste any money on fees. I had calculated up all the fees from those mutual funds over the 20 plus year period, and it was like a gut punch. I just imagined if all of those fees had been reinvested instead. We're talking a 6-figure loss. Second, unlike owning real estate rental property, your dividends never call you with a problem. You never get calls that the HVAC needs repaired, that the roof has been damaged in the storm and now you have to deal with the insurance, that the appliances need replacing, and on and on. It doesn't matter if you're on vacation, if you're sleeping, if you're sick, your rental property will demand your attention when it needs it. On the other hand, the only time my dividend stock contacts me is when they pay me my quarterly check, or when they give me a raise. Speaking of that raise, a third reason I like dividend stocks is because most dividend stocks, if you pick the right ones, give you a raise every single year, like clockwork, and usually at the same time every year. It's amazing to think that I can do nothing and they will go ahead and increase what they pay me year after year for potentially the rest of my life. Incredible. A fourth reason, and I think this is obvious, but maybe not, dividend stocks are life-changing because they actually pay you income. I'm talking about real money in your pocket every single month and quarter. This is money you can reinvest or just take to pay bills. It's not just money that's tied up in a fund sitting in an abstract account that you stare at. My goal is to become work optional, not retired. That means if I want to work on a project because I find it interesting and fun, great. But if I don't, I can turn off my drip and actually use that money to eat, travel, pay my mortgage, pay the electricity. Mutual funds don't do that. ETFs don't pay enough to do that. Growth stocks with no dividends can't do that. Dividend stocks do that. A fifth reason is the tax incentive. Did you know that a married couple can make up to $83,350 in income and pay 0% tax on qualified dividends? Let that sink in for a second. We're talking no taxes. So let me paint the potential picture for me. If I stop working and I have a taxable account that's making $83,350 in qualified dividends, which is stock that I've held for more than 60 days, I won't pay any taxes. That's just unbelievable. And I don't think many people fully understand or appreciate this part of dividend investing. Now, I could go on, like how this is an asset that creates generational wealth way beyond my lifetime. But let me leave you with a bonus reason, and perhaps the greatest reason why I love dividend investing, and that is compounding. Let's paint a picture of another scenario where maybe I don't take the money as income and instead work several more years. Let's also assume that I don't put any more money into my investment accounts, that from here on out, I just coast in terms of investing. Those dividend stocks, they're going to pollinate themselves the entire time. I'll have the DRIP or dividend reinvestment automation turned on so that when a stock pays a dividend, the stock simply buys more of itself, thereby giving off more cash the next quarter, which automatically buys more of itself. And so you can see how it gives off more and more as time goes on. And don't forget those annual raises. That's why the snowball effect is so powerful with dividend stocks. So I hope that helps you on your investing journey. My entire reason for doing this channel is to inspire at least one person to take the reins of their investments and gain more control over their life. As always, I encourage you to do your own research, decide your own strategies, and keep learning. And as a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, so keep in mind these videos are for entertainment and inspiration only. I'll see you on the flip side.